Hello all. I hope you all have enjoyed your Thanksgiving. I know I did. Well, it's been a while since I have told you guys a story. The last story I told you about was a man who was deflecting police taser gunshots with a fucking plastic lightsaber at Toys R Us. So now I have another fun story. But since this is the season of happy-go-luckiness, I figured I'd give you a little poem/rhyme. There was a man who wanted a PlayStation 4, unlike me who would have just spent all the money on whores. Yes, I admit, games are very fun. He would go out and purchase this PlayStation 4 for his son. But seeing that all the PlayStation 4s were sold, acquiring one for Christmas, well, the odds were quite low. But lo and behold, he would go to the net and think that a post on Craigslist would be his best bet. Okay, so I'm just going to stop rhyming here because you know the moment I mentioned that the man was going to try and buy a PlayStation 4 off Craigslist, well, you know how this story is going to end, don't you? So you want to guess what happened? Go ahead, I'll give you a second. Alright, you figured it out yet? So here's how it went down. Now keep in mind, I'm going to dramatize the hell out of this purely because I think it's funny. So from here on out, we're going to call the buyer Steve. Steve decided to meet in a hotel lobby, a fancy hotel with bells and shit. Soon after waiting for a while, Steve spotted a mysterious man holding a PlayStation 4 box. And after a small amount of inquiry, he would think to himself, well maybe this is the guy. But then Steve realized he was being a fucking idiot and muttered under his voice, I'm an idiot. It has to be him. How many other random strangers walk into mid-level hotels with PlayStation 4 boxes in their hand? The wind was blowing with a slight breeze off the AC units of the hotel, and the man's hair began to wave, glossing over his eyes, giving him more of a devil without a clue look. Steve, who was sitting over in a corner, raised his hand in a smooth back and forth motion, and the PlayStation seller noticed and proceeded to walk over. Within seconds, the two men were standing face to face, peering into each other's eyes, trying to figure out the gist of each other. The man licked his lips, probably because they were extra chappy since they were in Indianapolis. Well, what do you got in the box there, fella? Steve said. The man raised the PlayStation 4 box for him to get a good look at it. I got a PlayStation 4, but do you have the money? 'Cause if you do, what are you buying? Steve looked at the PlayStation 4 box and then proceeded to lick his own lips. Oh yes, I most certainly got it. Steve reached his hands into his pocket to pull out a few $100 bills and then placed them on the table. But then he gave a sly look at the man as his hands were still hovering over the money that was just placed. The mysterious man answered in kind by placing the PlayStation 4 on the table also. Steve gave a wild smirk while nodding his head. Oh yeah. Steve reached over and grabbed the box and flipped open the container, popping out the inside latches. He then lifted the box open, and lo and behold, inside the PlayStation 4 box there was not a PlayStation 4, but instead were nothing but beach towels. What the fuck? Screamed Steve. Steve's eyes began to redden as the veins began to thrust up through the skin of his neck and forehead. He turned around, but the mysterious man was in the air, leaping clear over hotel furniture. Steve pushed his front leg back and began pursuit. You son of a... The mysterious man pushed the lady over in the floor lobby, knocking over a luggage cart, and then bolted to the door, with Steve following right behind. But by the time Steve reached the parking lot, it seemed the mysterious man had a driver waiting for him, and all Steve would see is the man's feet dangling in the air as he dived into the vehicle. Steve tried to run up, but the car had already began peeling off, leaving Steve behind in a trail of rubber and smoke, cursing at the gods for their mischief. Fuck! 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 What about my son? I hope you all have enjoyed this small audio, whatever the fuck this was, and have learned a very valuable lesson. Do not buy anything off Craigslist. I am your host of this particular story, Vito, previously known as Reject. You all have a blessed day.